Okay, I guess 7 o'clock. We'll call a meeting to order. Yeah, we'll approve the minutes, February 16th, 23, the Selectmen's Meeting. You guys get a chance to look at them? These guys are muting themselves. You guys hear me?
I can hear you, Kathy. It's Sue.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I can hear you now. Can you hear me? I move that we approve the minutes of the, was it February 16th?
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Great.
You hear a second? You second, Sue?
I second that. Yep.
All in favor, right?
Yep.
All in favor.
Great.
Okay. And I approve the warrant 17 payroll warrants of February 22nd and March 1st, 2023.
I second
Well,
that.
All in favor?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, this is Lee. I say yes.
Okay, reports. RSU 10, anything? No?
No, we just had a meeting on Monday, right?
I think that's right.
Nothing, I guess. Road report. Guess there ain't too much on that.
I
Haven't
bet
heard.
they've been out plowing
Yeah.
and sanding.
Nothing with that. Constable report.
He called and asked if he should submit a report, even though nothing has happened. I just told him I'd let you guys know that nothing's going on right now.
Nothing going on with him.
Hey, at least he
Good.
called in. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
CEO. Guess nothing.
He did it. Scott did attend my with the junkyard with Mr. Harlow last week. He came and was a part of that signing of documents and explanation, and it was very nice to have him there. So,
Oh, Steve?
FYI. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, Scott?
I'm so sorry I couldn't be there.
I am so happy you guys didn't come. I feel great. Just tired. Otherwise, I feel
Yeah.
great.
Well, likewise.
ACO. Nothing. Planning board.
We're meeting next Monday.
They're going to meet next Monday.
Next Monday.
Yeah. The ordinance committee. They don't have nothing, do they?
They should. They should have had minutes by now, I would think. No?
She ain't seen any.
No, Bonnie does those. Must be. Okay. That's all right.
Fire warden. Nothing. Treasurer report. Got that, got that. Just let you guys know Ken is here.
Hi, Ken.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, anytime.
Cemetery committee report.
I've got nothing new to report other than that the things are on order.
Good.
I have a comment regarding, well, cemetery issues and or dead body issues. I listened to, the Maine Municipal has a podcast now, and they talk about the stuff that is in our weekly newsletter of the Legislative Policy Committee and what's going on in the legislature. And there are 2 or 3 bills right now that actually have to do with municipalities and people's funerals. Evidently, one of them has to do with, allowing people to be buried in a biodegradable pod. And if they want to be buried, a pod that would actually grow a tree out of it. So that, if people want to be buried on their own property, there are some bills that have to do with registration. There's another bill that has to do with allowing people to use cremation by open funeral pyre. And there were 3 different ones. I don't
Yeah, the
remember
Viking
all
one.
of them. I don't
Yeah.
remember all of them, but I'm gonna recommend that to you. I think you could probably read about it in the newsletter that comes around from MMA every week to the select board. But I thought that that might be of great interest to people who are involved in the cemetery committee to hear how things are evolving in Augusta.
Okay, thank you.
Very cool.
Enough said. If you're a podcast listener, I'd be happy to share that with you.
Good.
I'm not,
I
He says
I
no.
couldn't,
He said he's not a podcaster.
well, there
Isn't
you
there a
go.
place
In
here-
any case, it
isn't
was
there
a
a place
very
here in
interesting
Maine?
discussion.
Yeah. Isn't there a place here in Maine that does Viking funerals with the in a body of water?
I'm not sure about that, but these bills would have to do with that.
Yeah.
pieces that have roots.
Excuse me, you don't have to be a podcaster to have access to that information. You just go to mainpublic.org.
Well,
you
it
can-
wasn't.
and you
Did
can
they have
read
something
it.
about that? Did they have something about that on Maine Public? What I was listening to had to do was from the Maine Municipal Association.
I listened to a program on Maine Public.
Well, I know it's a hot topic right now. I just wanted to bring it up, for the sake of mentioning it.
Okay. Calendar reminders, nomination papers available March 6th for 1 selectman and 1 road commissioner. And we have a public lunch, March 16 from 11 to 2.
Great. How did the last one go? Good?
Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Guess you had
Good.
quite a few show up.
It was fairly well attended. And yeah,
I think it's a great thing.
well, if it doesn't have issues, same as the food bank did recently.
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
Or won't in
no
the
kidding.
future. Yeah.
Okay, unfinished business, legal counsel letters for junkyard law violations.
So we talked about this at our last meeting, but I don't think we put a motion in place to send letters out to the other 2 locations that are building more and more stuff. So can I make a motion to get letters drafted by our attorney to be sent to the other 2 places that appear to be accumulating more and more equipment without, or junk equipment without proper permits? And
I think you have every right to make that motion if you wish to.
great. I'd like to make that motion. Specifically, the one on Lower Town Farm Road and then the one on Route 219.
I don't know that the motion needs to be specific in that way, but
Okay.
but for Leanne's sake, I'd like to, I move that we send letters to the other, that we ask our attorney to draft letters for the other properties of concern.
Great,
Does that sound good to you, Leanne?
Yep,
great. That's
second
what I
that.
wanted to say. Yeah,
I second it. All in favor?
Yes,
yep.
yes from Lee.
Okay. Affordable housing law.
I listened to the hearing and I made notes, which I gave to all of you.
What's that?
I listened to the hearing on March 1st and I wrote up some notes, which I gave to all of you.
Yeah.
I think you have until March 13th to submit any comments.
Mhm.
March 13th, which will be on us in no time.
Yeah, it comes fast.
That's for sure. Okay. Whoops. Where am I?
So did everyone read that thing that Leanne wrote about affordable housing law? I mean, do we need to address it tonight or? Because 2 weeks is gonna be pretty close to March 13th.
Right, our next meeting is on the 16th.
They're just looking for anyone, if they have any concerns, to submit comments. I'm not sure how the process goes, but the law is supposed to go into effect July 1st.
So if anybody's
Right.
got anything to say about it, do it before March 13th.
But I don't know what the process is. I don't know if it could be vetoed or I have no idea, changed.
Well, I guess anything could be changed, but
Mm-hmm. All right.
Leanne, when did you send that to us?
March 1st.
It was in our box.
Okay, I guess I missed it. It's not in an email in any case.
No.
Nope, in your box.
Well, you know something? I grabbed my stuff, but I missed that. So I'll
Okay.
have to come back and get it because I have not had a chance to read it yet.
Yep.
It's a lot about non-conforming lots and Mills had proposed that, I don't know if this is all what happened at there, but I proposed about non-conforming lots and letting more people build on smaller lots, even if they don't have additional septic or whatever. But I know that it was kind of tumultuous, that people didn't really understand what they were saying. Is kind of easily
Right.
you could make your own rules, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then lot size limits kind of go out the window.
Right, yeah, I could see where it could escalate to
Well, yeah.
2 by 3 footers, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's largely aimed at communities that are using like uniform building codes and so forth, which of course, as a small community, we are not.
Right,
Mm.
So monitoring this could be challenging.
right, and it supersedes anything that we already have in place, so.
Afraid so.
Yep. Okay, does anybody have anything for open session? Leanne does.
It's been suggested that the old schoolhouse be used for something instead of sitting vacant.
Yes.
Steve Elsman called today. His wife is willing to volunteer to start a library or something in that building, just so it's used in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to get the idea out there to.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. I think we should be thinking about what we want to do with it, and you know, part of it is, does the town actually want to maintain ownership of this building?
Yeah, really.
You know, it could be somebody's house too. I mean, obviously somebody would have to work with it a little bit, although, and evidently with this new housing law, lot size is a lot less of an issue.
Yep.
But you know, that's something for us to think about, and I'd rather that we would put that in our pipe and smoke it, so to speak, than to try and rush a decision on that. The thing about anything like a library, it's similar to with the clothing center. If you have something like this that is being maintained for summertime use only, hell can break loose in the winter, you know, with rodents and so forth. And so I wonder about books and stuff like that being allowed to just sit and molder in an unheated building, unattended building.
Yeah, it would be cool to have an open comment time where people could suggest uses for the season for it, you know.
You
Sure.
know, a lot of people have done this. I mean, we've had a number of people make suggestions in the past, and we have just, for the most part, not been. I wouldn't say we've been unreceptive, but it's more like, oh, we've had a bigger fish to fry.
Right.
I have my hand up for open session.
Go ahead.
I have a question about beach policy.
Yeah,
Okay, I have 2 vehicles. If I'm gonna kayak, I'm gonna take my truck. If the policy is that you have to have a sticker on your vehicle, does that mean I have to pay $15 twice if I'm going to use 2 different vehicles?
You know,
depending
it's interesting that this is pretty much the same question that was brought up in the parking lot at the food bank recently. And the residents who brought this up were concerned that, you know, $30 is for the 2 vehicles, because they have a lot of people to take every time, is entirely too much to ask, and that this was outrageous. And what I said at the time was, my understanding was $15 was per family, but if the family has more than 1 vehicle, I guess this is the question that should be brought up to the select board, is, does that mean that each vehicle needs to pay $15? And you pay $15 per vehicle? And what if somebody has, you know, a great many more than that? You know, because
Right,
some
but
people do.
we have limited parking right now, and I don't think adding multiple vehicles for families and all that, since we have very limited parking, until we revise that parking schedule. I mean, one family could bring 30 people because they want to have a barbecue on one resident, and they come with them. That's a lot of cars.
must be.
Yes,
So
it is.
That's not what I'm
think-
asking. I
Right.
have,
Right.
if
No,
I
no,
want
but it
on a
still
given
applies-
day,
It still
if I
applies
want
to
on a
everyone.
given day to bring my truck because I'm going to kayak, do I have to have 2 stickers? One for my car and one for my truck. In other words, am I gonna pay $30?
I should think, my personal feeling is that you should get 2 stickers, but you know, you are 1 person, therefore $15 annually is a grand plenty. That's my take on it. I
So,
recognize what Susan is saying, however, about the parking situation. We have discussed addressing that and trying to bring that up at budget time. How can we afford to actually make we'd like to be able to make our actual parking lot, which would alleviate that. But meanwhile, I mean, we do have people who, you know, I know, for instance, my family that I care for, the children, has a car. It's a Honda. It's, you know, about average family size car. There are 2 adults in the front and 2 car seats in the back. There's really not room for anybody to cram in between there. So if you had 3 or 4 children, you kind of need to take both vehicles if you're going to take the whole family to the beach.
the hard part is, we're not a traditional beach like Turner, where we have one entrance where somebody can stand up there and check in every single person, because we're not hiring or putting someone there for every moment that the beach is open. We can't close it off with a big gate, because they can just walk around the walkway and get down there. So, I mean, it's hard to set it up the same way that other beaches, because like Turner, you've got the gate and
plenty of
so-
parking.
plenty of parking, right? So,
However,
Um,
that's not my question. My question is, if on a given day I'm taking one vehicle of two, do I need to pay for 2 stickers?
I would say yes.
yeah.
Well, that's
so-
not what you said. That's not what you said at the food bank last week.
What?
Me,
I just told Kathy that's not what she said at the food bank last week.
I don't know how we.
You, I don't want to bring up names, but you know, you were talking to somebody at the food bank and told them, oh, no, you know, you can get an extra.
Kind of
sticker.
how to use the same sticker for 2 cars when the plate number's on it and it says to display the sticker on your car.
That's right,
No,
you know, I mean,
just making it harder and harder for people in town who love the beach to go and use it for 2 different purposes.
mhm.
Whatever happened to the discussion in the ordinance committee where we talked about everybody in town paying $5 when they registered their vehicle? If everybody did that, it would more than pay.
But it should be a use tax. Not everyone, this is not the school for every single
Well,
thing
you know
people
what?
want to do.
You know what, Susan? I've
Yeah.
lived in this town 20 years and I've never had a child in the school, and I have gladly paid taxes for
I
children to
understand,
be
and it's
educated.
mandated. Yeah, it's mandated. That wasn't a choice the town made. That's a choice the state said every town will pay fees to cover your school system. So, but I mean, that could go through with, well, we've got a trail, so I ride a 4-wheeler, so everybody should help pay for my 4-wheeler because money I'm registering, even though no one else might use that trail. I just think it should
That
be a
is
use.
not an equitable argument.
Neither is
Why,
beach
why
compared to
shouldn't
school or
everybody
anything
in
else.
town be invested in maintaining and preserving our beautiful beach?
Because some people have no interest in going to the beach.
Well,
And-
that makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, as,
What
as,
do you
citizen
mean
in
makes no
town,
sense, Lenny? Lenny,
presumably you
whenever
care
you
about
want
the
something,
assets.
Lenny, you try to make
Susan,
everyone
please,
feel
let one person
stupid.
talk, at a time, please.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm
This is
not
really
really
hard to
used
listen
to the
to.
select board arguing when I want to bring up a point. I'm just saying, you're splitting hairs here. If I would think that everybody in town would be invested in the preservation and upkeep of our beautiful beach, whether they go or not. Personal choice, you don't go. But that was what we talked about in the ordinance committee. There are plenty of things in town that people don't use, but their tax money goes toward it. There are
But
people who
it's-
don't drive, but they have to help pay for the road commissioner's salary. Why is this situation so different?
The whole beach thing is different.
Is it
And
though?
we still have a
Is it?
parking issue, and we still have permits, because one of the issues we have now is all these people from out of town somehow all have lots of permits that have been passed around or given to people. And we're trying to pull everything together to have a uniform policy. If we start right out and start passing out passes for tons of different people's vehicles, that they're not going to end up on people's vehicles. People are going to come in and have every single excuse why they can't put that sticker on their car, or why they have to have.
Well, I'm
4
not one
because
of
I got
those
4.
people, and I'm the one asking the question.
Yes, but you have to apply the rule to everyone, Lenny. It's not Lenny's beach.
No,
everyone's
and I
beach.
never acted as if it were, Susan.
But it
You
has
don't need to
every
be
rule.
snarky.
I'm not being snarky. I'm trying
Yes,
to apply
you
the rule
are.
to everybody. I find it interesting that you love to get on here and pick the opposing side, no matter what the topic is. I'm
You
just
know
trying
what?
to answer you.
Your job is
what we're
not to
trying to say.
argue with me.
Yeah, you guys don't argue.
I think everybody in town paying $5 is way more reasonable, and that everybody in town should care about maintaining and beautifying our wonderful beach. I'm just giving you my opinion.
How about
You're
if we
the one
go-
who's arguing,
how about
Susan.
it- How about if we go with you know the second sticker, put it $5. If you want a second one.
Well, that would be reasonable.
With an assigned,
It's good to
license
have a
plate number
nice
that will
answer.
audit.
What's that?
Kathy,
What?
if we were to do a second sticker for $5, it would be assigned to that resident and their second vehicle with that license plate written right on the sticker.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Or-
That's a very nice compromise. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah.
Thank you for not telling me that I'm argumentative.
No, we don't want that.
Oh, no, that,
It's not the job
Absolutely.
of the select board to insult the citizens,
can we just move
Susan.
forward, please? Lenny, you do this at every meeting. I just finally got tired of hearing it, so.
Too bad.
Okay, we'll do that then. If the other two,
You're inappropriate.
Can't do anything until it's on the agenda.
I was thinking the same thing.
gotta be on your next agenda. The next meeting. Okay, new business. Budget review on next agenda, workshop.
Since the budget committee didn't really let the selectmen talk about or put their input in at the budget meetings, you guys should probably meet before the budget meetings start to get your numbers together.
Is that good with you guys? Lee?
Have we got a date?
No, that's what we was talking about, to make a date. It should be like a week before we start meeting with the budget committee.
Or two.
Week or two before we start meeting. What do you think, Lee? Any date good for you? He's unmuted. Lee. Where the heck did she go? Lenny, go ahead. Lenny, you got your hand up? Where'd Lee go?
Did it freeze?
Kathy, I just forgot to take my hand down. I'm sorry, I
Oh.
did.
Oh. Can you hear me, Sue?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
I don't know where Lee went. There you are. Did you hear us, Lee?
Yes, I did hear you, but I had to leave. I had to leave and come back
Okay,
because for some reason, everything was locked, all the controls were locked up.
okay.
But yes, I did hear you. That's gonna be, that we are going to meet when? Say it again?
That's
Whenever
what we're looking to pick a date.
Whenever we decide,
When's the first
be-
budget meeting?
should be a couple weeks before the budget meetings start.
Well, Susan just asked, when is the next budget, first budget meeting?
April.
Every Wednesday in April.
Every Wednesday in April.
Okay,
Next week is empty. Week of the 20th. Except for a meeting there, for that public meeting. Which is.
public meeting. Are you talking about our select board meeting our
Oh,
select board
that's-
meeting on the,
Okay. No, next week is empty. Week of the 20th, nothing going on.
yeah, let me look at my calendar just to make sure.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That was kind of strange. I got kicked out of the meeting. All right, I couldn't, I was locked up. I've done an awful lot of Zoom meetings, but that never happened before. So what is the date we're talking about? The
Whatever we
20th, did you say?
whatever's good for
Maybe
you.
Talking about Monday, the 20th?
It'll probably take an hour anyway or more.
It'll probably take about an hour at least.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
From the 20th on is empty.
Earlier is better, but
Yeah, well, I think it depends. I can, I can just plan that day to come, I could come straight from work. But I think it depends on Susan because she has I think she has a more demanding work schedule as far as
So right,
what time
right
she
now,
can
the
get
only
here.
thing I had planned on the 20th,
20th, good?
I mean, I can probably, if I put it on my schedule, I can probably meet as early as 5. Yes,
Okay,
can you hear me?
Yep, what time? 5
You
o'clock?
want to do, you want to do 5?
That too early leave for you?
no, I'll just plan to leave work earlier and I will come straight from work. We'll have our meeting and then I'll go home and then I'll start doing my real work.
Okay,
And the
yeah,
town office is open till 6 that day?
5. Open till 5.
5. So we're not interrupting. Yeah,
Nope.
I think the idea is that if we meet right away after the town office closes, then Leanne doesn't have to hang around for an hour or so until
Yep.
we're ready to meet.
Yeah, okay. Okay, it sounds good. Okay, the Winter Road Closure Amendment Order of Municipal Offices.
Oh, can't do that. We didn't have a hearing.
Right, so that's postponed.
And we signed the secret ballot election municipal officers order tonight, so I think we have to officially approve that,
Yep,
or at least those of us who are able to get in to do the signing.
yeah, I think we all did.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah.
good.
okay, tax abatement.
Can I have a motion for
Oh.
that?
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the secret ballot election. Municipal officers order.
Great.
For the second,
Second,
all in favor? Good. Tax abatement, R7 lot 48-1.
Give your copy.
I'm looking.
I move we approve the tax abatement. I know I've already signed the paperwork.
Yep,
I'm assuming you guys did too.
okay. I second it.
Okay,
All in favor? Good. Okay, the recycling report 2022. It tells us a lot on the recycling part of it. 487.5 ton.
of trash.
Yep,
That's the MSW, which is municipal solid waste.
yep,
So that's our total trash, and our recycling total is
89.
89.81 tons,
Yep,
which means we throw out an awful lot more than we recycle. Well, that's not surprising, now is it?
yeah, I guess so.
We could do better. I'm hoping that the education program of the solid waste committee can maybe help with that.
Mhm. Might, it probably will.
Can't hurt.
Okay. CMP pole permit. Stetson and Darrington Road intersection.
Stetson and Darrington Road. Well, I signed because frankly, I can't recall ever having refused a CMP poll. I mean, it's just our job to approve it as far as I know. But
I signed it.
Darrington and Stetson Road, it seems like they'd already had polls there, but maybe they're moving their poll or something.
Does that mean they're going all the way down to the end of Darrington Road?
I think they already do.
It's
Didn't
20
the Riley's letter discuss having lost power occasionally?
Yeah,
Right. They did.
If I'm not mistaken, they said they talked about losing power,
Yeah.
and that suggests that in fact they talked about losing power, and they talked about their the CMP workers not wanting to hike in, which is also not surprising.
Mhm.
So I guess I'd have to say that they already have power down there.
I don't know.
No, because they're talking about the Stetson Road, and I guess I would say that AKA Trask Road. Boy, I'll tell you what, they've got the CMP hangs on to some antique road names. But in any case, I think they're doing this. My guess is that it says here, Central Maine Power Company and Oxford Networks. I don't know if this means that this has to do with broadband.
First Light, yeah.
I'm
Could
just not sure. But it did say Oxford Networks there, but I guess that they might have just meant First Light, or maybe they already shared this poll and therefore they had to
Right.
mention it. Probably that's it. But my thinking is, it doesn't explain here, but the starting point's the intersection of Darrington and Stetson Road. And I guess what I'm thinking is that a number of poles, 20. So sounds to me like they're just replacing their poles.
Yeah. Probably old
I'm
ones.
assuming so. It does say 20 poles.
Yep.
So, but in any case, I don't recall ever having to make a motion and an official approval of this sort of thing. I guess I thought we just sign it and call it good. Is that right, Leanne?
She thinks we need a motion.
Well, I move we approve the new pole placements.
I second it. All in favor? Appointments and resignations. Guess we're good on that. We don't have any. It's good. Training.
Is there any training this week, Leanne?
Nope.
There we go. And while I was in today, I didn't see any correspondence, so.
We'll put them in the next meeting, she said.
Awesome.
Well, I was gonna say, we do have that letter from the Darrington Road people, but that's more for.
That's
when
for
we
the
meet.
public hearing.
Yeah, for the public hearing.
Yeah.
Guys, got anything else? This is a
Yeah,
fastest one we've ever had.
You know, I couldn't be happier.
World record, no kidding.
Okay, then. You got anything, Ken? No? Guess we're adjourned.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
you guys-
awesome. That was amazing. Ken, if you want me to follow up and see if I can find that information for you, I'll do what I can. Or maybe you can just you could probably just grab a copy of the legislative bulletin that is around the town office.
Yeah, you know, green burials to me is something that you really want to consider because of the high maintenance that it involves, because there's no vaults involved in a green burial.
Right.
And then you have a sunken grave and you have to maintain
Sure.
the grave.
Yes, but this is not something that the town is deciding in any case. These are bills before the legislature.
Yeah, I've looked at a couple of shows on green burials, and they have one place in Maine that does the burning of the bodies down the river.
Mhm.
I saw that show. So
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's nothing that I'm more interested in than what I've already known about it.
Okay. Well, I just thought the time to bring it up was cemetery committee time.
Yeah. Well,
In any case, great.
We have a payroll.
you ladies have a good evening.
Yep, you too, Ken.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Karen.
thanks for being here.
Okay, we're adjourning, I guess. Marla's just getting in here.
Is it still snowing out? It was when I got home.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, you guys, good night.
Good night. Thank
Have a
you.
good evening. Bye.
End meeting for all.